What's going on? It's Ballistic Beats, BLysticProductions.com. I figured I made a lot of upgrades and added some new additions to my studio this year. So being that it's the end of the year, about a week away, it's a good chance for me to go ahead and do what's in my studio 2020 edition, so I can go over what I got, why I got it, how I feel about it, and etc. This is not a review for anything, but just a quick going over my studio. So if you're looking for a review, not yet, you can let me know in the comments if you want to see a review of something. This is just going over like what I got. Before we get started, hit the subscribe button, and also remember that everything that I'm mentioning has links in the description where you can click and see what the current price is and check it out for yourself. I recommend everything that I'm mentioning. If there's something I did not like that much, I either sold it or I'm not putting it in this video. So if I'm mentioning it here, this is my current setup. This is what I currently use. All right, so first off, I got a little tired of doing everything in the box, in VSTs and DAWs and all that this year. Of course, I started the year off with the MPC Live. I did a video on that, and it hasn't stopped getting feedback since the beginning of the year. You can watch that after this if you want to. But yeah, the MPC Live, coming from the MPC Touch, added the ability to work in complete standalone. And in addition to the standalone, it has the battery, so you can really go out and move it around. I haven't moved around as much as I thought I would, being that it's 2020 and all, but I can do that. But what that did though was make me want to go more out the box and actually add some synthesizers to my mix. So I've been through a few of those, and the ones that I kind of ended up with is the Moog Brandmother, and that one is fully analog. It has that super fat old school sound, like that Dr. Dre Chronic sound, and it's amazing. Like, I originally thought that it would be kind of limited because it's monophonic and like it doesn't have that much like full, you can't create any sound that you want, but those analog synth sounds that you can create, and changing the octaves, it has an arpeggiator, all of that kind of stuff, you can really get some creative stuff going out of it. And then if you put it into the MPC and chop it up, it just kind of gives you some things that you may not do otherwise, like from just regular digital synths or VSTs and whatnot. So it's something different. Next, I have the Korg Wave State, and that was actually the first one I bought back in like March or April. I really love it. It really is like the synth equivalent of something like Omnisphere as far as how much it can do. It has so many sounds in it. I mean, sampled sounds from like regular sine waves to squares and triangles and all type, like pulse, all the different waveform samples, like hundreds of them. And it also has like hundreds or thousands of regular sounds and instruments and stuff too. So it has different guitars and strings and brass, horns, trombones, trumpets, pianos, e-pianos, everything. So pretty much any sound you can think of, I'm sure it can do it. The biggest downside for it is the fact that it's so complex. It takes a lot more to program, so you might spend hours like trying to program those sounds, but it's beautiful sounds, and you can just stack 4 different ones. It has the wave sequences, so it has movement like arps, and it really can give you anything you want, from a trap beat to a Star Wars score or something. Like, it is that good. Right after that, I got the Korg Minilogue XD because I started with the Wave State and I wanted something more of an analog sound to give me that 80s vibe. I've really been killing like the last couple Weekend albums and whatnot, and I really like that vibe of that. He just has that 80s synth vibe, and it's just dope. So the Minilogue gives you more of that that grit and analog sound than the wave state does. So I got those to complement each other at first, and they really do, especially if you stack them. So it just kind of broadens what the wave state can do even more by giving it the digital dope sound that it has, and then you can stack a little analog on it to give it a little bit more character, and it just worked out. I did end up wanting even more of a classic analog sound, and that's when I got the Moog Brandmother a little bit after both of those. As far as my studio monitors, I'm still rocking with the Yamaha HS8s, the white and black edition. I got those 5 years ago in 2015, and they still sound just as good as they did then, and they still are my favorites. If something happened to them, knock on wood, I'll buy them again. Like, they're that good, and I don't even think anything's updated on them. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Dope speakers. For my monitor, I have a MSI MAG 341CQ. Try to remember that. But it's an ultra wide 34-inch screen. I really like having that extra space without having to use like a double monitor setup with the bezels in the middle and the gap. So like now it's a 1440 P screen, and like if I game and do stuff like that, I can have like a much wider view. That helps, especially in like shooting games and first person games and whatnot. But it's just cool to have anyway. You can put the windows next to each other, and you pretty much have a 2-screen setup with all the real estate in a small, seamless, nice little package. So that's what drew me to that. As for my interface, I still have the Apollo Twin Solo, actually. I didn't even get the Duo back then. It's a Thunderbolt. The Solo is cool. I don't use that many UAD plugins. Some people say if you're not using UAD plugins, you might as well not have it. But I'd say the converters in the Apollo are very noticeably doper than a lot of other stuff. Coming from a Focusrite, which also has really good stuff. If you have that, you know Focusrite is dope. But when I hook up my same setup to the Apollo, I can definitely notice a lot more clarity and a lot more loudness. So that is, I recommend those too. If you don't have an Apollo and you can, or you're looking to get a new interface, definitely go for Apollo if you can. I've had my headphones for a few years, and they are the Audio Technica ATH M50Xs. Pretty popular, and they're popular for a reason. The sound is not exaggerated in any of the frequencies. I can mix in them, I can track in them, I can just produce, make beats, whatever. I can even listen to music, and it's like, it sounds good. It's not like so flat that you can't enjoy it. Like, you can hear the presence of the low end all the way up to the highs, and everything sounds like they're supposed to sound. So those are cool. I just got the wired versions. They have Bluetooth versions out now too, and if I get some more, I'm thinking about getting those. Next up, we have my main rig, my main computer, the computer that I feel so strongly about because I built it from scratch. It's the first PC build that I've done, hopefully not the last. Once they go a few more generations, maybe 2 more generations, I may update one day, but right now, really good performance out of that and no complaints. Right now I have the NZXT H510 case, the NZXT water cooler, the i9-9900K processor. I had the i7-9700K, but a few months ago they all went on sale that generation, so I was able to get the i9 at a really nice price, so I added that in there, and that's when I went water cooling too, just because it's a little bit higher power. I wanted some extra cooling for it. That's dope. I started with 16 gigs of Crucial Ballistics 2666 speed RAM, but I updated that also a few months ago to 32 gigs of Corsair 3200 speed, and I can notice a difference with that. Everything is a lot snappier, And yeah, so definitely love this computer. I game on it, I edit videos, I produce, and I can barely get it to hit 15-20% as far as when I'm doing the most, even exporting videos. Like, it really isn't scratching the surface of what it can do, so probably wouldn't have to update anytime soon. All right, so I wanted something almost up to that level that's portable, so I then went with the Razer Blade 15-inch base model. It's called a base model only because it's not the advanced model, but the base model is super professional. It came with a 512 gigabyte hard drive and 16 gigs of RAM, and I wanted to max it out. Well, still not maxed out, but I wanted to spec it all the way out. I put two 2TB sticks of SSD NVMe in there, so I have 4 terabytes of SSD. I added 32 gigs of RAM, and it's pretty beastie now. The processor is a i7-10750H. No complaints. It's 6-core, 12 threads, but it runs just as well as this desktop with the i9, and that's no joke. Probably because it's a 10th gen i7 and the desktop is a 9th gen i9. So they're right there. The desktop still is a little bit more. Next, I have, if you've seen my recent videos, which I'll link up here also, the 13-inch Apple MacBook Air with the M1 chip, 8 gigs of RAM, 512 gig hard drive, and it has 8 cores of CPU and 8-core GPU in this. And you can check those recent videos out. Like, this thing is a beast. Like those last couple computers I mentioned that cost double or more, this thing keeps up with it. No joke. And it's only gonna get better. Like right now, a lot of the apps are being translated and they are working on native versions. So once those updates come out, it's just ridiculous. Like, Apple really put everything into a new, not even a new generation. It's like a new era for CPUs and whatnot. So it's exciting to see what other companies end up doing, like Intel, AMD, or even Microsoft. I heard they're working on updating their ARM chips and stuff too. So I guess we'll see in the future what comes of that. As far as my cameras, my main camera that I'm recording on right now and that I usually record on is a Sony a6400. I have the Sigma 16mm 1.4 lens on it, and I love it. It's crazy because I have a camera that's better, but this is the camera that I use the most, like 80% of the time. I also have a Sony a7 III, which is a few years old now, but it's still killing a lot of the competition around the same price point or even more expensive. They probably have an a7 IV come out soon, and you can also get, as far as video, if you want to do a lot better video, the a7S III, or if you want to do more photography, the a7R IV. But if you want the best of both worlds, that a7 III is it. I sold it earlier this year, and like 3 months ago, right before Halloween, I bought another one, the same camera. Luckily it was on sale, so I actually only paid like $100 more than I sold it for, so there we go. I have the 2020 12.9-inch iPad Pro. Amazing iPad, super snappy. Got the Apple Pencil 2 with it. It's dope for like editing pictures and Photoshop and stuff like that. And they just added this scribble feature where you can like write in stuff and it types it in for you, and it's pretty accurate and all that too. So that's pretty cool. Now that I'm using the MacBook Air, again, I can use Sidecar on the iPad Pro and actually use it as a second screen. So putting both of those easily in the bag, and it's super portable. That helps a lot, especially with like editing pictures, because you can also use the pencil to brush stuff in and all that on the iPad. It kind of gives touch functionality to the MacBook. So it's pretty dope. And bouncing between all these devices and computers, you gotta have some storage. So I've been using Western Digital SSDs a lot. I also just picked up a Samsung T7 SSD, and that thing is fast. The Western Digital ones are fast on their own, but that T7, I dumped like 30 gigs of footage, like video footage from an event that I did recently on there, and it literally took like 45 seconds or something. It just, I was amazed. Like, I always heard about them and wondered why they costed so much more than regular SSDs, but I found out why. Sometime if I want to do external audio, I actually use the Zoom H4n Pro. Really handy thing to have. The audio is super clean from it. Sometime I'll attach the video micro in it also, and that just gives a really good sound too. I used that in a couple of my first standalone beat making videos just to test it out and everything, and that turned out really good. What I plan to do with this also is to take it around and build drum kits with it. So I want to start sampling a lot more natural sounds as well as banging stuff and creating banging stuff as well as banging on stuff pretty much, and just creating all types of funny sounds, kicks, drums, perks, and all of that. So that'll be on its way. I mentioned this in the last video, this JBL Clip Bluetooth speaker. It's dope. The sound is big. I take it on like photo shoots and stuff with me. I use it for when I do a video shoot for the playback, and I also use it around the house if I'm cooking, about to shower, or anything like that. It's waterproof. Like, it just sounds so good and it works well. The battery lasts for quite a long time. Definitely recommend that. You can pick one up for, a lot of times they be on sale for like $40. So get one. If you ain't got one, get one. Alright, so that's pretty much it. I'm pretty sure I left something out, but I might cover that later. I don't know. But if it's anything you want to see, any questions you have, hit the comment section. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button. A lot more content coming. I recently got monetized, so I'm happy about that, and I really want to change things up and give you guys the best value that you can actually use, and that helps you and answer any questions that you might have. So hit the subscribe button, hit me up. I try to respond to pretty much everything. It's getting a little bit harder to do that, but I'm still gonna do it. Like, so don't hesitate to hit me up for real. But please hit the subscribe button. It's the least you can do. But as mentioned, all this stuff that I mentioned, I'll have links in my description. They are affiliate links, but they'll help me out, help me grow, help me provide more information and tips, tricks, all of that to my channel moving forward. And that's about it. This was supposed to be quick, but I ain't expected to go as long as it did. Anyway, I'm done now. Have a good one though. Hold it down.